What's going on, fantasy world? It's your boy Hot Soup, man, coming to you for our week 12 overachievers and underachievers. Man, week 12 was crazy. We had a lot of those top guys, top names that we thought were going to do outstanding and ended up being the lowest on the totem pole. A lot of guys that, we thought that wasn't going to do something big, man, went out and did something big, and we're going to talk about it. Right now, we're going to go over our week 12 overachievers. You got to check us out for our next episode, which will be our underachievers. Overachievers for week 12, we're going to start off with our two quarterbacks. Number one coming off the board was Mr. Jordan Love. We've talked about Jordan Love in the past, these past couple weeks, him having an easier slate of games, him really bringing it together, continuity of the team coming together, his receivers. He has a lot of competent guys right now. Watson is healthy and finally had a big game, a breakout game. They're finding out how to get Jalen Reed the ball a lot more. He's getting the ball on the ground, through the air. I like it. He's a athletic player, kind of a gadget guy. Get him the ball in space, man, and let him work. So I like what they're putting together over there in Green Bay. You also got Dobbs over there, man, a great receiver. So his receiving core that Love has is better than most in the league right now. Not only that, the running game is going to be coming together. Aaron Jones is coming back, man. Dylan is capable of taking the pressure off and getting those 2-3 yards if they need it, instead of Jordan Love always having to pass the ball. Jordan Love also has been great on the ground. So, getting you that 50 yards a game, possibly a running touchdown. Jordan Love last game ended up with 3 touchdowns, 268 through the air, had one of his best games of the season. He was number 5 quarterback on the list this week in fantasy scoring. So shout out to Jordan Love, man. Keep doing what you're doing. From this point on, Jordan Love is a viable starter. Just got to watch the matchup. Matthew Stafford was another one. No one thought that Matthew was going to come out and do what he did, especially coming off a finger injury. Matthew Stafford threw up 229 and 4 TDs, 2 going to Kyren Williams. Now, Cooper Kupp, he's injured right now, and it shows, man, because Matthew Stafford was going to Atwell like he was Kupp. Atwell was getting targets. Puka was getting targets. Kupp was out there just running routes for nothing, man. He was more of a decoy. I'm down and out on Cooper Kupp. And what hurts the most is I was so Cooper Kupp heavy this year, getting him in the second and the third round since he was hurt in drafts and people wasn't sure what he was going to do. And I was out on Kupp, man. But Matthew Stafford with Kyren Williams back is looking like he could be a good start moving forward. He has a pretty sweet schedule in those last couple games in the playoffs as well. So Matthew Stafford was number 2 off our overachievers. No one thought Matthew Stafford was going to be the number 7 quarterback. They were both QB1s this week. Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, shouts out to those guys. Obviously, my number 1 running back coming off the board for overachievers this week was Kyren Williams. We knew he had a high floor if he was healthy. The only problem is we didn't know if he was going to be healthy or not. I knew if he was healthy, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns was in his future. Kyren Williams went off for 143 yards, 6 receptions for 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was the number 1 running back in fantasy scoring. I feel bad because I was posed with a question before Sunday. Who do I sit? It was out of Joe Mixon, Gus Edwards, Pacheco, and Kyren Williams. And my bottom 2 were Kyren Williams and Joe Mixon. I just knew Gus Edwards coming off 9 touchdowns was going to get another tud. I knew Pacheco was going to go off, man. They've been feeding him. It was only a matter of time before he got in that end zone. So I was teetering between Kyren Williams. I know that if he's healthy, he could be top out of all these guys, and I said it. But we don't know how healthy he is. He's coming off of IR. Obviously, the guy's coming off IR, meaning that he is healthy if they're going to bring him back. But at the same time, I was going with what my eye test had saw for the past 4 or 5 weeks. And what my eye test saw was Gus Edwards, Joe Mixon, and Pacheco have been doing a thing, especially Gus Edwards and Joe Mixon. Both of them had touchdowns in the last 4 games. So it was like, okay, that's no question. But when I start getting in my mind, man, I don't know if this guy's what he's going to do. We haven't seen him in 5 weeks. Man, that man went off number 1 running back in fantasy scoring. Look, man, he put me out in a league where I bet my boy cash money. I ain't going to tell y'all how much I lost, man, but my stomach was hurt. Kyren Williams, he put it on me this week. I was going against him in like 6 of my leagues. Man, keep doing what you're doing, Kyren. I just hate you had to do it against me. Number 2 running back off the board. Nobody thought that Bijan Robinson would end up being the number 3 running back this week. He has the talent, but we just haven't been seeing them utilize him correctly. Man had 91 yards, a touchdown, also had 3 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. He scores twice, gets in the end zone, proves to everybody, look, this is why y'all drafted me in the first round. I am the rookie of the year, and he showed it this week. Now, there's other guys that are pushing for that rookie of the year. Might not be Bijan, but if he keep acting up like this and do something big in that playoffs, we already know what's happening. Isaiah Pacheco, I called it. I called him as a start. I told people, man, he is one of my guys that he runs hard. He's in an offense that is going to always be in the red zone. Pacheco, man, get him in y'all lineups. He was a target monster. They got him the ball early and often in that game. He runs hard for those extra yards after contact. Pacheco had 55 yards, 2 touchdowns, finally got in the end zone. Also had 5 receptions for 34 yards, which is a great thing to see being targeted in the passing game. Isaiah Pacheco, number 3 running back off our list for the overachievers this week. Number 1 receiver off the board this week is going to be Christian Watson. Christian Watson goes off for 5 receptions, 94 yards, gets him a tud. He was looking good. Love was going his way. I like him. He's the best receiver athletically on the team. Hopefully, Jordan Love and that offensive coordinator can get this guy the ball more, man. He is that guy. We seen spurts of it last year where he went off for 4 and 5 games straight with big games, man. Maybe this is his spurt. Coming around, fantasy playoff time is coming up. Or to get you to the playoffs is coming up. We got 2 more games till fantasy playoffs begin. Christian Watson needs to be in your lineups, especially in good and sweet matchups. Number 2 receiver off my board this week is going to be Rashee Rice. Woo! He did his thing over there in KC. Goes off for 8 receptions, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. The game we've been waiting for him to go over 100 yards. Patrick Mahomes, even though he dropped the ball, he was dropping the ball. He's been dropping the ball all year. I think he has 6-7 drops this year. When he gets the ball in his hand, he is active. He may be the best player on the team with the ball in his hand. But he's elusive, man. And if Patrick Mahomes continues to give him 10 targets a game, he's going to be a fantasy winner this year. Trust me, man. You heard it from the soup. Number 3 receiver off my board this week is going to be Nico Collins. Man, I knew Nico had a big game coming. Tank Dell has been having those big games. It's only a matter of time for it switches to the other side of the pendulum. That's right. Pendulum goes one way, pendulum's going to swing back the other way. Nico Collins is the bigger receiver. In my opinion, he's the better receiver. Tank Dell is just a more explosive receiver for downfield throws. But route running, I'm going Nico Collins. Up top, poke chop, I'm going Nico Collins. So he is the receiver for me to have over there in Houston. But all receivers are good to have in Houston when you got C.J. Stroud throwing for 300 yards. So Nico Collins ended up going off for 7 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown this week. So if you had Nico in your lineups, man, kudos to you. So our tight end coming off the board is going to be Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee went for 5 receptions, 29 yards, and got in the end zone twice. Matthew Stafford exposed that defense over the middle. Higbee did his thing. Our number 10 tight end off the board this week is going to be Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth had a huge game, 9 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Looks like Baby Hands is going to be going to Freiermuth more often. 9 catches. That's right. In my opinion, it may just be a one-time thing. Pickens and Deontay Johnson are number 1 and 2 in that offense. I believe this may just been a situational thing with Pat Freiermuth going off. I'm not saying go and get him and start him in your lineups, but if you don't have a tight end or you got a tight end on the bye this week, go grab him off the waiver wire, man, and get him in your lineups ASAP. Those are your overachievers for week 12. Hot Soup Fantasy Football, man. Come check us out for our underachievers on our next episode. I appreciate y'all showing up. Go check me out on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Like and subscribe. It's your boy Hot Soup, and I'm out.